The United Nations has just announced that they will be aiding the National Guard in Mexico. Now, this raises a few alarm bells for me, which is why I wanted to bring it to you. But the question has to be asked, is the United Nations truly just wanting to aid Mexico's Guard to help them with human rights as they claim? Or is there something a little more sinister in mind? After all, the United Nations had made it very clear that they want to send over 6 million illegal immigrants into the United States between the years 1995 all the way up through 2050, which means they want to send and intend on sending 10 to 11 illegal immigrants into the U.S. each and every single year. Could the National Guard play a part in that? But before I get into the report, just a quick break. I've got a question for you. Why are countries all across the globe banning virtual private networks, or VPNs? Russia just joined in on the action recently and began restricting users' access to VPNs. They joined a whole slew of other countries who are already banning them, including China, Egypt, Belarus, North Korea, Turkey, Iraq, Iran, and multiple others. Is the United States going to be next? Are they going to start banning VPNs here in America? Well, I hope not. This is one reason why I've partnered with HideWithLisa.com, who right now has an amazing special of 30% off. Now, if you're not familiar with what a VPN is, it basically scrambles your IP address on your computer and acts as if everything you've searched for, Googled, or looked at on your computer is done off a completely alternative computer. This is the beauty of a VPN. And why countries are avidly against it and attempting to get rid of it. Again, why? Well, because they want all the information on what you do and say. And me, on the other hand, I want to keep my privacy, and I believe you do also. So get your hands on a VPN today. Go to HideWithLisa.com. Right now, they've got a free 30-day trial that you can try it out and see if you like it or not. Click, get this exclusive deal. If you want to protect yourself and you have less than 3 devices you want to load it on, click that one. If you have 3 or more, go to protect your family. Then scroll down and click on how many months you want it for. I suggest 24 months. It starts at $2.99 per month. Then add on anything you like. I personally suggest IdentaSafe. Why use Virtual Shield? It's one of the easiest and fastest VPNs in America. And personally, I know they throw everything away on a 24-hour basis. So check it out at HideWithLisa.com now. So let's start first with the United Nations aiding Mexico's National Guard. Take a look at this article from WashingtonPost.com. UN to help human rights training of Mexico's National Guard. In other words, the United Nations is claiming they want to teach Mexico's Guard how to be a good human being, how to, well, have the freedom of religion and the freedom of speech. The problem I see with this is the United Nations actually forces the opposite. They push globalism with one side of their mouth while standing against countries who don't want to sign on to their agenda. It's downright hypocritical. So what's really going on here? I believe the UN is talking out of one side of their mouth. In other words, they are claiming that they want the human rights taught to the military men there in Mexico. However, I believe that's just doublespeak for the true agenda. And that agenda is to create some kind of force there in Mexico to get millions of migrants into the United States of America and ultimately unveil their plan of takeover of not only the United States of America, but countries all across the globe. That is the globalist agenda, to tear down countries who are more prosperous and make them poorer so they are more easily to be controlled. Now, where do I get this information from as far as the United Nations is concerned? How about their very own website? Take a look at this article on UN.org. Now, this is a report published by the UN titled Replacement Migration. Is it a solution to declining and aging populations? Now, the article goes on to state the UN projections indicate that over the next 50 years, the populations of virtually all countries of Europe as well as Japan will face population decline and of aging populations. The new challenge of declining and aging populations will require comprehensive reassessment of many established policies and programs, including those relating to international migration. What that report basically says is that the United Nations is entertaining the idea of sending millions of migrants into more European countries, more developed and prosperous countries, in order to, quote unquote, fill the population gap. Because according to the UN, we are not producing enough children and our population would actually shrink. Which is contradictory to what they normally want, because on Agenda 2030, they claim that we're overpopulated and that we're going to have some kind of population burst. Yes, yet here they are talking out of the other side of their mouth, yet again saying we have to fill the population gap in America and European countries. And in order to do that, we have to send mass migrants into the United States of America and other European countries. I think there's a bit more here, like maybe an agenda to bring America to a more third world-like country. And you want to know how many millions of migrants they plan to bring in the United States of America? Check this out. Now, this is also on that same United Nations report. But on scenario 6, they actually detail sending 593 million immigrants into America between the years 1995 all the way through 2050, which means an average of 10 to 11 million migrants will be sent into the United States of America per year? What exactly would 10 to 11 million migrants coming into the country on a yearly basis do to our structure and standards here in America? Could it affect our healthcare? Could it affect our financial system? Could it affect our crime rates? What repercussions would it actually have? Well, let's take a look at some of the headlines of the repercussions that mass immigration has already had on the United States of America. Here's an article from the LA Times. Border Patrol says detention centers are full and they start releasing migrants. MySanAntonio.com, with detention space full at the Texas border, migrants get court dates and a pass into the U.S. NPR.org, packed detention centers force migrants to the streets of South Texas. Problem number one that's already happening here in America? Well, there's no more room in the detention centers, and as a result, many migrants are left on the streets. Here's another article from CNBC.com. More than 2,000 migrants quarantined in the U.S. detention centers due to disease outbreaks. The TexasTribune.org, nearly 200 people in U.S. detention facilities have contacted the mumps. HalTurnerRadioShow.com. 20 illegal aliens from Congo are being monitored for Ebola at the United States border. Problem number two that's happening in the United States of America? How about the rise of diseases and viruses? Things like mumps and Ebola are making their way back to the United States after being gone for years. Here's some more articles. QZ.com. ICE will spend over $100 million getting kids and families to detention centers. Watchdog.org. Analysis. Illegal immigrants cost taxpayers $116 billion annually. WashingtonTimes.com. Illegal immigrants cost taxpayers nearly $700 billion over a lifetime. Problem number three is it's costing you and I literally billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now imagine if 10 to 11 million started pouring into this country on a yearly basis. We're not talking billions here now. We're talking trillions of dollars on a country that is already $1 trillion in debt. Here's some more articles. This is from economiccollapseblog.com. San Francisco, LA, and Seattle, former beautiful cities, have literally been transformed into hellholes. He goes on in that article to talk about it being transformed because of the homeless population. Unfortunately, a lot of that comes from illegal migration. Here's another, LasVegasReviewJournal.com. Illegal immigrants have turned California into the American nightmare. AmericaRenaissance.com. Feces and urine problem in downtown El Paso. Center for Immigration Studies.org. Trash at the border highlights the environmental cost of illegal immigration. Problem number four, they are literally trashing our cities, and some of them are leaving poop and urine behind. Now, the fact of the matter is not all illegal immigrants are doing this. Please know that. There are very good ones that want to get into this country and do everything that they can to do so. There are other ones who are bringing in sickness, disease, and crime and drugs and sex trafficking into the United States of America and causing massive problems. But the bottom line is that it does cause consequences in the country. We don't have to look very far to see what happened in Sweden or what happened in Germany or what's happened in multiple other countries. But the fact of the matter is the United Nations is building an invasion force and attempting to turn America into a more third world country to make us submissive. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Please leave them below. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.